How's it going, everyone? My name is Derek Afasi. I'm the owner of Afasi Financial Group. Today's topic, I want to discuss with you how long will my IRA last? And I want to go over what is an IRA, kind of when somebody sets up their accumulation phase in an IRA, and then the very important distribution phase in an IRA, and that really correlates to the statement of how long it, could potentially last, or some of the mistakes and problems that individuals make when pulling out money from their IRA distributions or their IRA accounts. Now, regarding the first bullet point, we have IRA accumulation. And typically what happens is an individual will set up something known as an IRA, which is known, and the one I'm talking about is a traditional IRA. You can also utilize Roth IRA. It's just it's taxed different than the other. So a traditional IRA is going to be fully taxable at retirement. A Roth IRA will be tax-free at retirement. But essentially what's happening is an individual is placing monies aside into, kind of think of this like a retirement bucket. So each dollar that they're placing into this bucket and the amount of money or the percentage rate that is returned based upon the different funds that you chose is going to determine whether this bucket's going to be larger at the end of the day, end of the year, or smaller at the end of the day, end of the year. So when somebody is younger, they could essentially place more dollars into their IRA contracts, hoping that the market should typically increase, and therefore they could be getting those nice positive percentage gains on top of the contributions that they're making to increase this retirement bucket, this IRA bucket. So it's known as an individual retirement account. So rather than like a 401k, which is set up through an employer, an IRA is set up through the individual. So an employer 401k account might only give you about 15 different mutual fund options to choose from, as opposed to an IRA that an individual could set up with a Fidelity, adhere, or Price, whatever that case may be, and they might have 300 different options to choose from. So it's all about how to leverage those eggs in your basket a little bit better. So when you're looking at the accumulation phase, individuals utilize mutual fund related accounts to say, I want to have a combination, a mixture of stocks and bonds, or they could utilize different speculative investments, different sorts of things that you could place within that IRA account. So what's happening is, as this individual keeps growing or keeps adding more and more dollars, they're hoping that this percentage interest is going to be positive each and every year. Because in the years that it's positive, obviously the contributions and that positive interest rate is going to make that bucket larger. Now, on the years that the interest rate comes back negative, well, then it didn't matter how many years or how much contributions you place into that bucket. If this percentage rate is down, is let's say a minus 50% or 15% or 10% or 5%, whatever that case may be, it's going to reduce that bucket proportionately. So you have individuals in 2008 that were walking into the year with $1 million in their IRA accounts, and then at the end of the year they were walking away with $600,000. And it's because of this interest credit came back negative and completely messed with their entire mindset that the market's always going to be going up, and this money is always going to last me for the rest of my life. And that's when I get into the distribution phase. IRA distribution, and what are some of the problems and mistakes to avoid when trying to pull your money out for those IRAs. And let me clear out the screen. Now, one of the different recommendations that I always try to make, I always try to hit home with anybody watching my videos, is I say avoid the negatives, avoid the negatives, avoid the negatives, avoid the negatives. Make sure that if you could eliminate the negatives altogether, or at least reduce those significantly, then you could at least get to your retirement destination successfully. So if you're leaving your money into an account that's meant for accumulation, but now you're starting to take distribution off of that account. Now you can't have that risk that you had with accumulation, saying, okay, if the market goes up, well then, I have the next 5-10 years to, or the market goes down, I have the next 5 to 10 years for the market to, to poke back up again, to give me some good growth, good gains into my account. So when it comes time for that distribution, you have a limited set amount of years, because many times you can't work as long when you're older, so therefore you're saying, I want to just pull out this money that I've accumulated throughout my lifetime and make sure that I'm doing it at a safe, consistent basis, that I cannot outlive this money. So what happens with IRA accounts that are tied to mutual funds that is set up for a distribution phase is that individuals fall victim to something known as reverse dollar cost averaging, also known as RDCA. What it says is it's a culmination of negative aspects that are working against that account and trying to pull money from that account that could result in retirement disaster, result in you outliving that IRA contract, where now you're only left with pension income or Social Security income that is going to be the only income that would come to you when you need that money most in retirement. So what do I mean by that? Well, with IRAs that are tied to mutual funds, there was a report done through Morningstar that they said that the average mutual fund fee is about 1.31%. So if we're just using a conservative fee, with those mutual funds that are tied to the IRA bucket, let's just say that you have a minus 1% of the mutual fund related fees that are tied to this bucket. So what that means is that your account has to at least beat out 1% that year just to break even. Now, many times, because individuals don't really know, how to pick those funds properly, they'll go to a specialist. They'll go to a wealth accumulation specialist or retirement specialist, a financial advisor that says, okay, based upon our expertise, we're going to charge you something known as a wrap fee, which is 1.25% per year on top of your account just by our recommendations, which wouldn't be a bad thing if the advisor was always correct. But one of the little stipulations with their paperwork that you're signing, it says that no investment performance is guaranteed. It's not guaranteed to always have a positive rate of return. They could show you illustrations all day long, but if the market wants to go down, the market's going to go down. Just like in 2008, you had individuals that were set up with investment advisors and financial advisors that were charging them wrap fees, and their accounts still dropped by 50%. Some instances were worse, some instances not so bad, but understand the only thing that's guaranteed off of those types of accounts, those variable accounts, is that you're going to be paying a mutual fund related fee and also that advisor fee. And we could just say 1%, but typically it's going to average right around 1.25%, and your mutual fund related fees are going to average right around 1.31%. So then the next stage goes to downward market loss. Yes, the market could be going up, could be going up, could be going up, but let's say, if we give an example, let's say your account gains 50% the first year, then loses 50% the next year, well, this would have averaged a 0% rate of return, right? But if we were to go and place a number, let's just say we use $100,000 in this example, your account would have grown to $150,000 the first year, then it would have dropped down to $75,000 the next year. So therefore, your actual rate of return would have been minus 25%. You could do this either way, any way that you set this up. You could say minus 50 the first year, plus 50 the second year, whatever that case is. On paper, it looks like your averages weren't that bad, but even though you had a minus $25,000 loss or minus 25% loss that specific year. So let's just say in a given year, your account, the market has been extremely volatile, your account drops 10%. Well, now this account's dropping 10%, and then you also have to add on your mutual fund related fee and the advisor fee that would bring it to a minus 12%. Let's say that year that you want to pull out 5% worth of income to live off of for retirement. Well, you're pulling out 5%, your account could have went down 10% or 5% or whatever that you want as this negative number. You still have to pay the fee, you still have to pay the fee. So this is now a computation of negative aspects that are working against this IRA contract, which is now forcing you to pull out a higher percentage each and every year because you're getting hit with these negatives. So losses hurt far worse than gains could help you, especially when you're looking for that distribution phase in retirement. What I mean by that is, let's say if you have an account that had $100,000 and you decided to pull out $5,000 that year, but it dropped $17,000 worth of value. That means the next year you're walking into the year with $83,000. $5,000 of $83,000 is much higher than 5% of $100,000. So, understand that now this number is going to be higher because you're going to have to still live up to that $5,000 of income, and all of these negatives are going to be exponential, thus resulting in an account going down to zero faster. Once your account hits $0, well, now there's no more money there. You cannot pull any more money. And that is a major, major problem. This is something that I want you guys to have as a big takeaway, is how can you avoid those problems successfully, making sure that you're being conservative and you're setting up the correct safe strategies for your specific situation that is correlated to those IRA accounts. So this last bullet point, I say, maximize your IRA with correct safe strategies. Now there's ways on how you could correlate your specific goals to how much income that you want to have on a guaranteed basis. And what do I mean by that? Well, there's specific IRA contracts that you could set up that do not have those mutual fund related fees, do not have those advisor fees associated with it, do not have downward market losses, meaning that if you're looking mainly at a return aspect, you could have safe, consistent growth that do not have any fees associated with those types of accounts. Now, there's also a catch to those types of accounts because they're going to restrict how much money you could pull out for X amount of years. Because if they're not paying you a fee, then they say we want to make sure that you're staying within our contract for X amount of years, whether that be 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, etc. The most important types of IRA contracts, especially if you're looking to see how long these monies will last, is to correlate it exactly with something that will provide lifetime income through lifetime income riders that you could attach to specifically designed IRA contracts. So what would essentially happen is, let's say if you have a budget or you have certain expenses that are going to occur in retirement, of maybe, let's say, $50,000, but you have Social Security income that's coming to you for $30,000. You have pension income that's coming to you for another, $15,000. Well, now you have a specific gap of $5,000 of income. Rather than try to pull out $5,000 of income, what you could do is you could leverage what the most optimal IRA contracts are out there to provide lifetime income to both you or you and your spouse, to make sure that you're utilizing the smallest amount of dollars into those contracts, but as much as necessary, to say even if your account value hits $0, that $5,000 would still be going to you guys for the rest of until the second spouse passes away. If something happens to you before that time, then whatever's remaining in your account value would go to your beneficiaries successfully. And those are some of the different things that we try to show individuals at a Fosse Financial Group. We like to specialize in retirement income planning, and a large portion of retirement income can be leveraged through IRA contracts. These are contracts that you couldn't touch before 59 and a half because you were looking to retire in your 60s. So how exactly could you make sure that you're leveraging your IRA the best possible way? We are an independent agency, so what that does is it gives us access to multiple carriers, multiple strategies, proprietary carriers even at that. So depending upon what your area is, we work on a national basis. So depending upon your state, depending upon your age, depending upon, most importantly, your goals, we're going to have a specialist standing by. We offer 24/7 customer service. So you give us a call mornings, nights, weekends, holidays, whatever the case may be. You say, I saw a video online about an IRA and how to make sure that my IRA will last as long as my life or mine and my spouse's life. I want to speak with a specialist. From there, you're going to be dealing with a specialist. That specialist is going to help educate you what you currently have, what maybe some goals or some problems that might be occurring with what your current plan is, and then it goes through a process known as Retire Sharp Planning System, where we have a case design team in-house that goes through over 1,200 different contract strategies and scenarios on average before we give the top 3 recommendations. So we give these recommendations through different video tutorials, through literature pieces, making sure that you're acclimated at the entire process and you're going at your own pace. One of the things with retirement is you only have one chance to get things done correctly. There's no room for error, and we want to make sure that you really understand what you have, kind of what are the solutions out there, and how to make sure that you're leveraging your chips the right way. We are A+ rated on the Better Business Bureau. We've always had very good reviews. We've never had any complaints. It's because of this methodical process. I want to thank you very much for watching this video. Please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Retire Sharp, so you can have access to the most updated videos.